What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and it's time for a Mosh Pit Reviews. God, I can't even remember how long it's been since I've done one of these. I think the last album I reviewed on the channel was the Hate album, and that's been a month, and ever since then, like, July had been kind of quiet in terms of metal releases. Of course, there was albums from Abath, Tomb Mold, and a bunch of others, but nothing in terms of, like, big mainstream appeal. However, this past weekend we had one from probably one of the most popular bands going in the world of metal today, and that's Sweden's Sabaton, a power metal outfit from, well, Sweden. So, for those who don't know about Sabaton, Sabaton formed in the late 90s, and they're a power metal band that incorporates a lot of elements of old school heavy metal and speed metal into their power metal sound. And lyrically, they tend to involve a lot of war lyrics about historical wars like World War I, Civil War, Trail of Tears, stuff like that. And basically tries to create an epic sound and telling stories of historical events, which has often given Sabaton quite a lot of love from metal fans, that they're willing to sing about history in a time where there's not a whole lot of artists out there that are doing historical lyrics. But nonetheless, Sabaton is back with their first album since 2016, I believe. And, well, the album is called The Great War, and before any wrestling fans try and guess, no, it has nothing to do with Broken Matt Hardy. Though, that would be amazing. But nonetheless, so The Great War by Sabaton is basically a concept album all about World War I, which is kind of a mainstay of Sabaton lyrics, is songs about World War I. And when you have tracks such as The Future of Warfare kind of having this kind of poppy song structure, I mean, then again, Sabaton songs do kind of have like a standard songwriting process, like verse, chorus, bridge. Some songs they do try and experiment at times. However, with this album, now I'm not going to be talking about like song to songs unless I want to, but when you have tracks such as The Future of Warfare, 82nd All the Way, that are fairly within the 3.5 minute range, yeah, song structure wise, it isn't going to blow you out of the water, or it's not going to blow your mind. It's basically standard songwriting structures. Like I said, verse, chorus, bridge, which nothing against that. In fact, that was pretty much the hallmark of early heavy metal, was basically trying to create a heavier sound with a pop writing sensibility back in the late 60s, early 70s. Now, from top to bottom, the album flows together really, really nicely, with all the songs telling an individual story, whether it's about World War I casualties, about the world leaders at the time, or about certain events that happened in a certain country during this time period. And I do like the touch of adding, for the final song, the under 2 minute In Flanders Fields with that poem from World War I, to kind of add like a nice touch to the end of the album. But as far as how it flows nicely, and the songs, they're catchy, and at certain times they're very melodic and still very heavy at times. However, the one real criticism that I really have about this album is that some of the tracks do tend to be a little bit hokey, as well as the production. Like, the production felt a little more poppy produced as opposed to a metal production, even though, like I said, there are heavy parts on the album, don't get me wrong, but with the production, it doesn't really, like, the production doesn't really accentuate the heavier stuff, in my opinion. Of course, they used a different producer for this album, whereas for the past about 10 years or so, they had been using Peter Tägtgren from Hypocrisy and going to the Abyss Studios, and you could tell that when Peter did the production on Sabaton albums, they sounded heavy, and they still had a sense of it sounding like a human being production kind of thing. I know it's a little bit weird to say that, but Peter made the songs have more balls with his production, whereas the production on this album made it feel more, how should I say it, more glamorous. And I don't mean that in terms of like a glam metal thing, but it's like it had a glamorous kind of sound to it, and I wasn't too big on the production. But aside from that, it doesn't change the fact that this album is still a very competent album. However, this, in my opinion, out of all the Sabaton albums that I have heard, or songs I've heard, this album would kind of rank lower on the list for me, but it doesn't mean it's a bad album by any means. It's just not their best. And for that, I'm going to actually give this a 29 out of 40. Still, it's a very enjoyable album, regardless of how you feel about how the songs were written, how the production was. But let me know in the comments, what did you guys think of The Great War by Sabaton? Let me know in the comments section below. The next album set to come out is Die Art is Murder. I might do a video review for that, or I'll do it on Twitter, because basically, for any other albums that come out that I didn't review on video, you can check them out on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to see some extra album reviews for albums that are maybe lesser known or didn't get enough votes on the community tab. However, the community tab voting system is coming back for the month of August, because August is looking really massive. So thank you guys for watching. What did you think of The Great War by Sabaton? Let me know. But until next time, peace out, and I'll see you soon. Well, it was Dorian Facepuncher who led the first lap of the day, as he's got his teammate Dylan Young right behind him, as they're both out of Young Motorsports working together for the time being. And then I see two Gibbs cars working together. Although I think I just saw, oh my goodness, a massive crash! This is the huge one at Talladega. That's about half the field in a car flipping wildly. That's Anthony McCrory. Holy cow.